Hey there, ghouls and gals and all you creepy creatures out there at night. Welcome back to Cafe Crashdown, the only place where your coffee's as dark as your soul and our horror picks are dead on. I'm Kayla, your hostess with the mostest terrifyingly good taste in movies. As the leaves start to fall and the night grows longer, it's time to cozy up with a blanket, some popcorn, and a few blood-curdling screams. Halloween is just around the corner, which means AMC's Shudder library is packed with all the thrills, all the chills, and spine-tingling scares you could possibly crave. Whether you're a fan of classic creeps, indie frights, or modern slashers, I've handpicked 5 killer films that'll make your September Shudder-tastic. Enough with the teasing, let's get into the good stuff. Here are my top 5 Shudder picks for September. Kicking things off with a true classic, Salem's Lot. This 1979 miniseries directed by Tobe Hooper is based on Stephen King's novel and is often hailed as one of the best vampire stories ever told. Some people say it, all right? Don't come for me. The plot follows Ben Mears, an author who returns to the small town of Salem's Lot, only to find it under the shadow of a sinister ancient evil. What makes Salem's Lot stands out is its slow-burning atmospheric horror. This film takes its time to build dread, using the eerie, decaying Marston house as a symbol of the evil that grips the town. And let's not forget the terrifying figure of Kurt Barlow, the vampire who brings unspeakable terror to the town. The makeup and special effects, particularly for Barlow, are chilling even to today's standards. So if you're a fan of gothic horror with a rich narrative and well-developed characters, Salem's Lot is a must-watch. Its influence can be seen in many modern vampire tales, and it's a perfect way to kick off your Halloween season viewing, especially given that they're trying to do like a whole remake thing with Max with Salem's Lot, and it just sounds like it's gonna be an absolute hot mess. So we're just gonna stick it to the original, okay? And so next on our list is Lutz, a surreal and hypnotic German horror film that's sure to leave a lasting impression. Directed by Tillman Singer, this film is a masterclass in minimalistic experimental horror. The story revolves around Lutz, a young taxi driver who stumbles into a police station, pursued by a demonic force. But this isn't your typical possession story. Lutz is a deep dive into the subconscious where reality and hallucination blend into one. The film's aesthetic is reminiscent of 70s horror, which we love, with its grainy 16mm film, sharp contrast, and a haunting synth score that keeps you on the edge. I just freaking love synth scores. It's a psychological horror that leaves much to the interpretation, making it a film that you'll want to discuss and dissect long after the credits roll. For fans of art house horror and films that challenge conventional storytelling, Lutz is an absolute gem. It's a unique experience that you won't forget anytime soon. If you're in the mood for something more intense and visceral, Evil Dead Trap is the film for you. This 1988 Japanese horror film directed by Toshihiro Ikeda is a brutal and bloody entry into the genre that's not for the faint of heart. The story follows Naomi, a TV reporter who receives a mysterious snuff film. Intrigued and horrified, she and her crew decide to investigate the origins of the tape, leading them to an abandoned factory, which is never a good sign, where unspeakable horrors await. Evil Dead Trap is heavily influenced by Italian horror films, with its vibrant colors, elaborate kill scenes, and a mystery that keeps you guessing. But it also incorporates elements of Japanese horror with its unflinching brutality and psychological depth. The film's special effects are absolutely incredibly graphic, and the kills are as inventive as they are disturbing, making it a challenging but rewarding watch for horror enthusiasts. So if you're a fan of extreme horror and enjoy films that make you squirm while also make you think, Evil Dead Trap should be on your watch list for this month. So switching gears to something a little bit more lighter, but still spooky, we have Deadstream, a horror comedy that's as clever as it is terrifying. Directed by Joseph and Vanessa Winter, this film centers around Sean, a disgraced internet personality desperate to regain his followers. In a bid to make a comeback, he decides to live stream himself spending the night in a supposedly haunted house. Of course, things don't go as planned, and what starts as a cynical publicity stunt quickly turns into a fight for survival. Deadstream is a brilliant satire of the modern internet culture, poking fun at the extremes people go for online fame. But it's also a genuinely scary film with creative practical effects that bring the haunted house to life. The film is filled with jump scares, okay? Creepy visuals and a sense of dread that builds as the night progresses. Yet it balances this with humor, making fun of both the horror genre and the absurdity of the influencer culture. So if you're a fan of horror comedies like The Evil Dead or, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, you're definitely gonna enjoy Deadstream. It's a perfect film for a fun and frightening movie night. And rounding out the list is Vicious Fun, a film that lives up to its name. Directed by Cody Callahan, this 2020 horror comedy is a stylish, blood-soaked tribute to the 80s slashers. The story follows Joel, a sarcastic film critic for Horror Magazine, who accidentally stumbles into a support group of serial killers. What starts as a quirky misadventure quickly turns deadly as Joel finds himself the target of the group's murderous members. Vicious Fun is a love letter to the horror genre, packed with references and homages to classic slasher films. The film's neon-soaked visuals, synth-heavy soundtrack, and over-the-top gore all straight out of the 80s, but with a modern twist. The dialogue is sharp and witty, filled with dark humor that keeps the film entertaining even as the body count rises. What makes Vicious Fun stand out is the characters. Each serial killer in the group has a distinct personality and method, from the charming Hannibal Lecter type to the unstoppable slasher in the vein of Jason Voorhees. Joel, the hapless protagonist, is a relatable everyman who has to use his knowledge of horror tropes to survive this night. So if you're a fan of meta horror and films that blend scares with laughs, Vicious Fun is a must-watch. It's a film that doesn't take itself too seriously, but delivers on all of the thrills and all of the chills that you could possibly want. And speaking of horror legends, don't miss out on Joe Bob Briggs' latest special on Shudder this month. For those of you who don't know, Joe Bob is a horror host icon known for his insightful and humorous commentary on cult horror films. His special, Joe Bob's Drive-In Theater, is back with a double feature of classic horror films, each paired with his signature witty banter and deep dives into the history and trivia of the films. Joe Bob's specials are more than just movie screenings, they're events that bring the horror community together. So whether you're watching for the first time or you're a longtime fan, his blend of humor, knowledge, and genuine love of the genre makes for an unforgettable viewing experience. It's the perfect way to spend a Friday night if you're looking to both learn about and enjoy some classic horror. And lastly, make sure to check out Shudder's curated collections this month. From Celebrate Horror's Greatest to slashers and neo-slashers and possessions, The Devil Made Me Do It, there's a wealth of horror to explore. These collections are packed with films that cover the entire spectrum from the genre, from classic slashers to modern psychological horror. It's the perfect way to get into the Halloween spirit, all right? With something for everyone, whether you're a fan of the old school or the new waves of horror. And there you have it, my top 5 Shudder picks for September. Whether you're in the mood for some vintage vampirism, mind-bending possession, or just a wild, bloody ride, these films are sure to make your Halloween season start with a scream. But hey, before you go and turn off the lights, let me know in the comments which of these picks you are most excited to check out. Or if you've got a favorite Shudder gem that I absolutely missed, drop it below. I'm always on the hunt for the next great horror fix. If you loved hanging out with me today and want more of these spooky vibes in your life, you know the drill. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring that bell like the summoning of the undead. Because trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. So stock up on your candy corn, get that pumpkin spice flowing, and keep those horror marathons going strong. I'll catch you in the next video where we'll dive even deeper into the shadowy world of horror. Until then, stay spooky, stay creepy, and as always, keep the horror alive. See you next time, ghouls and gals.